That's good. Yeah.
I hadn't actually looked at it since I started, so I was like, oh no, has it
Mm.
actually been getting audio?
Yeah, but I did check before.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Hey everybody, welcome to the turn-based Cynics.
Hi there.
It's been a while.
Remember us?
Yeah. I understand if you don't. Like, I'm not mad at you if you don't. Like, I'm not gonna take it personally. I understand. Shit's been hard. It hasn't been as fun as I thought it was gonna be these last couple of weeks. Technical problems abound, but you know what, ladies and gentlemen? The train is back on the tracks. There is now a conductor at the wheel of the train.
And he's only slightly drunk.
It's only look. He was rated really highly. It's just that his one con is that he sometimes starts drinking at 9 a.m. I can't, you balance the good with the bad. This is how it is. You balance the good with the bad. All right. I don't have a lot to show for my time away. Believe it
Mm-hmm.
or not, I've been on a bit of a health sabbatical from YouTube in the last
Ah.
couple of weeks. It'll probably
Ah.
be a handful of more weeks, if not longer, until I feel like I am capable of coming back at my best. I've been on a bit of a health sabbatical, so that's been
Mm-hmm.
cool. And I've really taken it seriously. I don't touch anything that I was working on. Like I've been tempted to like go work on stuff behind the scenes and like go grind in like Coliseum or something to waste time. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
no, no, that's related to. No, I'm not touching that either. Not doing it.
No, just
Nope.
nope. Nope,
Yeah.
nope, 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 nope.
If it's related to something for work, I just don't even mess with it, and it's probably for the best. Honestly, it's been probably the
Mm-hmm.
best decision I've made in a really long time to do it that way. So that's what I've done. That's where we're at. it, I will say that I have also got to test out and mess with some other stuff of mine, along with trying to make this space not as much of an actual clusterfuck. It
Mm.
still is a clusterfuck. I'll probably never have it the exact way I want it, but
Oh,
it it is.
most of the way there is already good.
Yeah, it's like 80%. I'm
Mm.
happy with it. I did some organizing and trying to put stuff in places that actually made sense for a change, and going through bags and bags and bags and containers full of parts and equipment and stuff. Turns out when you're me, you have a lot of stuff. Not even like,
Assorted things.
yeah. I would hesitate to call it junk,
Hmm.
but if we were to venture so far onto that spectrum, a wiser man would say it's junk. A wiser man might call it junk. I wouldn't, but a wiser man might be willing to call it junk. Uh, I've been messing around with some Game Boy games that I picked up
Mm.
for myself for funsies. And you know why I bought them, but I'm not going to tell the audience why I
Hmm.
bought them. You're not going to hear about that for a
Aw.
couple of weeks. I'm going to give that a few weeks to stew before I officially talk about that. So I've been messing with that. I
Alright.
started messing around with Link's Awakening DX. I had never actually
Mm-hmm.
played the original with Link's Awakening, but
Mm-hmm.
that's actually really good. Really dig it. And then the two Oracle games, I used to have one of them when I was a kid, so I ended up buying them both. So now I own both the Oracle games. Screw you, little brother. I don't need you anymore. I have both now.
So with Awakening, you played the remake, or which one did you play?
The Game Boy Color one.
Okay.
Yeah, DX,
Mm-hmm.
not for Switch. I do own the Switch one, which I'm gonna probably mess around with that one, just for some
Okay.
contrast as well. But you know,
The claymation version.
mm-hmm. If anything, it's
Sort of,
just
kind of.
because. If anything, it's just because I think the art style in it is unique. I kind of dig the art style they went
Certainly
with.
unique, yeah.
Yeah, unique. Yeah, that's probably the right word for it. I
Mm-hmm.
also realized that when playing Game Boy games, one of the best controllers for doing so is the
Mm-hmm.
SNES controller. It just feels so fucking good, dude. So fucking good. The SNES controller, man. It's a masterclass. Masterclass in controller. Masterclass. I mean, I know some people argue the Mega Drive 6-button is the best controller ever made, but I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I am saying I'd fight you over it. So, you know, like, I'm not going to commit to calling you wrong, but I am saying that if you want to meet me outside after the show in an alleyway and you want to hash it out, whatever happens, happens. Whatever happens,
Yeah.
happens.
I don't have any personal experience with the controllers from that generation, but I'd wager the majority of people would say the Super Nintendo controller is the superior one.
Yeah, I think so. It's when it comes to just like anything I want to play that's retro that doesn't require like actual analog sticks, as long as it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't need more than 6 buttons, which I mean, not many things do. Although, from what I've seen, there are some games these days that probably should need more than 6 buttons. Yeah, Debs, I'm talking to you. Do not have two separate commands on the same fucking button. That might not go well together. Doesn't always work out that well. Just saying. Don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, that's about it, man. That's about it. I haven't really been
Mm-hmm.
working on my shit recently because I just haven't wanted to. So I just been minding my own business, trying out some new games. Got my hands on some of the Castlevania GBA games as well that I missed out on when I
Mm-hmm.
was younger. Because
Ah,
those came
okay.
out, those came and went, and I missed out on them. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just, I
Which one
regret
was those? Circle of the Moon, I think,
Circle
was
of
one
the
of them.
Moon,
Area of Sorrow.
Area of Sorrow, Harmony of Dissonance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have Circle of the Moon, Harmony
Mm-hmm.
of Dissonance. I do not have Area of Sorrow because that goes for
Mm-hmm.
an absurd amount of money. Like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
it goes for enough that like I don't want to spend on it. Like, it's enough to make me go, I don't need it that badly. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
it that badly. That's too much money.
Understandable.
Yeah, the market has long since priced me out, and I'm just gonna have to
Hey,
accept that there are just certain things I want. I'm just not gonna get. Just the way it is now. Here we are.
happens.
Welcome to the party.
Yeah.
All right, CD bases are loaded. The
Well,
crowd is tense and
as
puckered.
you know, as you know.
The crowd is silent and puckered, ready for your entrance, CD.
As you know, a certain system decided to, well, partly kick the bucket. So I was busy trying to find out which part it was, and it turned out to be the CPU, which trying to determine that is special.
I was about to say, because at that point you just kind of have to guess, right? Because you probably
Yeah,
narrowed it down to like what, the motherboard and the CPU, basically.
motherboard and CPU essentially, yeah.
And
And
I highly
at first
doubt.
I hoped it was the main board because I didn't yet have any CPU that conked out, and it wasn't overclocked, so there was really no real reason for the CPU to just go up and kick the bucket. So at first I hoped, yep, okay, I'll get a relatively cheap motherboard as replacement, put that in, symptoms lessened, but still it still continued to freeze up and not work. So next up, I ordered a CPU, and so far, it's working again. I haven't completely set
Ah,
it up yet because I haven't decided on how I'm gonna do that in the future, but at least it's working again.
that sucks. That sucks. That's a 50-50 coin toss. You just have to
Mm-hmm.
hope you're fucking right the first time. I would be
Yes.
so pissed to buy
Hmm.
one of those two components and find out it was the other one. I'd be like, fuck. God
Hmm.
damn it.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
that sucks.
I went with the cheaper option first, and it turned out to be not that. But oh
Yeah,
well.
well, live and you learn.
Yeah. And I also, for this replacement, I went with a CPU one step lower, which also means it's less power intensive, and but still good enough for what I need. Because for me, the main power output happens with the GPU being ev- with everything at 4K.
Oh,
So I don't need the pure processing power of the CPU most of the time. Because everything, pretty much, the things are most of the time GPU limited.
right, right.
And if they aren't, then the CPU is gonna be definitely strong enough to handle it on a fluid level. And, well, for gaming, I have um, on the Steam Deck tried out, not tried out, I've picked up again one of the old GB games, the first Super Mario Land, since it has been quite a while since I played that. So on a whim, I just played through that again. That's decent, small, and fun game still. And but you definitely notice, yeah, it's an early Game Boy game.
Yeah, you definitely notice it's a Game Boy
Mm-hmm.
game.
Yeah,
A very
it's a Game
early
Boy
Game
game,
Boy
and it's
game.
very early in the Mario life cycle, so to speak.
Yeah, because the Game Boy was after the NES, right? Like yeah, it had to be after NES, right? The NES would already
Mm-hmm.
be out because yeah, that wouldn't make any sense. I
Yep.
was thinking like the NES, like no, NES was first, and then
Mm-hmm.
they were like, oh, what if we could bring people the NES, but on the go? And then they made the Game Boy.
Yeah. I don't think it was many years difference, but it was a few years. Because I think it was 89 for the Game Boy. Yeah, it was 89, and the NES was. Oh, in Japan it was originally 83. Okay. Yeah, that's certainly quite a significant difference. You in the US got the NES in 85. So that was less of a time difference there. Only 4 years,
Hmm.
just about. Well, 3 to 4, since it came out in October 85 and the Game Boy in July 89. Which, interesting. Just the middle of the year, essentially. Not even in the holiday season or anything.
They
Huh.
didn't need it. They didn't need it. They didn't, need it. They didn't even need it. They didn't even need the holiday season. They already knew. They were like, yeah, this is gonna win no matter
True. I
what. We
mean,
know who's our
I
competition.
mean it.
Who are we
It
competing with?
essentially, yeah, it was essentially the first major handheld.
Yeah, who are we competing with?
Mm.
We ain't got no competition. Like, I don't give a fuck what I
Yeah.
release. I got no competition. It's just me, baby.
Hmm. And that one had a really short difference between the Japan and the US release. Just April to July.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was quite fast. They knew what they had there, so they said, "Yep, no, let's go."
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we already know we gonna win, baby. We already know. We already in here. So
Mm,
we ain't worried about
yeah.
it.
And besides Super Mario Land, I pretty much just tried out one or two of the um, titles from the Toa Plan arcade shooter collections. One was Hellfire, which is one of the one of the first games that I ever played on an arcade cabinet, just on a holiday in Spain back when I was a kid, just on a whim because that that was curious because we were on a holiday in a hotel in Spain, and then there was a lone arcade cabinet standing around, and yeah, that was pretty much also my one of my first experiences with games altogether. I think
Oh wow.
that was funny.
Huh.
And yeah, it was Hellfire, which is a not that easy arcade shooter. It had its specialty was your weapon system. You could switch in which direction you fire.
Mhm.
Either you fire to the front, to the back, up, down, or into the corners. And with a button press, you switch that. Then, besides that, it was a relatively standard shooter. Like you had your power ups, speed ups, bonus points, and yeah, but it was as usual with arcade titles, pretty difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I ever told you that story about on my
Mm.
birthday one year, me and a buddy of mine blew like $20 a piece to get through Die Hard the arcade game.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
to get
that was from a time when you paid a quarter for a credit, or
yeah,
what was it at the time?
quarter for a
Okay.
credit. We
Yeah.
we blew through. Listen, man, listen. When you like $10 in
For the
on
few
this shit,
credits.
bro. When you
Hmm.
are like $10 in
The
on this
sunk cost
shit,
fallacy kicks in hard.
yeah, dude. We were all look. We considered quitting at like $10. But at
Hmm.
that point, we knew we were invested. We had to finish it. So
Hmm.
we got to the end, and it pulls one of the greatest. I don't think many
Hmm.
people who played the arcade game even got that far. I don't feel like
Hmm.
many people
Probably
actually
not.
beat it. But if you play it 2 player, it forces
Hmm.
player one and player two to fight each other, and whoever wins
Ah.
puts down their name as the one who
Ah, okay.
completed it. Yeah,
So they pull a double dragon there,
yeah.
essentially.
And for us, that was mind blowing because we had no idea what was
Hmm.
gonna happen when we beat it. We were like,
Hmm.
"What? We have to fight each other now?"
So you beat the final boss, and then you had to fight each other. Yeah, I think yeah, Streets of Rage had something similar from what I remember. Like you could fight each other when once you get to the final boss.
Right.
If one of you chooses to side with the bad guy. I think it was like that.
Yeah. So that was. I've
Hmm.
never actually
Neat.
beaten an arc. That was like the one time I've ever
Uh-huh.
beaten an arcade game in my entire life. That one time, but again, I paid for that. That was not a
Well,
cheap venture.
you
That are
still paid less than retail price for it.
oh yeah, because that turned out to be a Sega Saturn. That
Hmm.
particular game ended up on the Sega Saturn, like as
Mm-hmm.
a conversion to Sega Saturn. And I know that was not a cheap experience,
Mm-hmm.
as to be expected.
Yeah.
All right.
And the other title was also a very good, well-known one, Zero Wing.
Oh,
I
okay.
tried that one a little.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that one is certainly known among gamers just by the intro.
Yeah. Bro, listen, man. I feel like older video games just they hit different with their intros.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, but that one
okay,
was special.
like how many games are you gonna see these days where
Mm-hmm.
like the bad guys come in, punch your girlfriend in the gut? and kidnap her on the spot. Like, dog, you ain't
Mm-hmm.
finding that these days. This is not a thing you gonna get. Like we was cracked back then.
Mm-hmm.
There was something wrong with devs back then. They just didn't understand. They was on a different level. They was built
Well,
different.
back then you had more of the whole black and white stuff, like, yeah, this guy is just evil, or these guys are just evil, so they want to take over the world and whatever. But kind of, I think that has some value to it, because sure, it's nice to have nuance, but it's also nice to have some clear cut stuff from time to time.
Yeah, I don't
It's a,
think there's
a balance
no.
should be done there.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having like
Hmm.
your clear cut villain, but
Yeah.
I mean, but let's face it, these days, like even the Castlevania Netflix series tries to turn Dracula into a
Hmm.
sympathetic character, which I'm just like, stop.
Well, they did it pretty well though,
They
I
did.
think.
They did it very well. And by the time you get to
Because
the
they didn't just make him good, they just make him descend into madness. Which, yeah,
yeah,
that's absolutely believable in the, with that story.
he's like, listen,
And and but what they really did well is make the church guys evil.
I love it. He was
It makes it so satisfying when you see them get their retribution. And you
Paul.
certainly see, yeah, Dracula is totally in his right to go after them.
He shows up. He's like, look, y'all
Mm-hmm.
burnt my wife. He goes, so I'm gonna do you
Mm-hmm.
a favor, the likes which only my wife could possibly do you. You got 1 year, my nigga, 1 year to get your shit in order
Mm-hmm.
before I come back. Because when I come back, I am
Yeah.
snatching every motherfucking weave in this house. And they're all like, you won't do it. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
1 year, motherfuckers.
Say your
One
prayers
year.
until then. You're not gonna get yours.
And believe me, in 1 year, he came back and was like, I gave y'all
Mm-hmm.
motherfuckers 1 year to get your shit in line.
You didn't, so here we go. You're going down.
Yeah. All right. You know, I wasn't planning on making this a comedic show, but I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm going to start with the most clown shoes fucking thing on this list.
All right.
The most clown shoes, the most clown car fucking aspect of this show.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the PlayStation Portal remote player.
Of course.
Okay, I need to put into perspective how clown shoes this fucking thing is. One of my favorite tech tubers
Mm-hmm.
I is MKBHD. He's always been one of my favorites. I
Mhm.
really enjoy his work, and he's always just had that next level to him. He did a YouTube short about this, and even he was like, "This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life." So let's put into perspective, ladies and gentlemen, what the PlayStation Portal is. It is what happens if you took the touchscreen out from a PS5 controller and then attached a screen there instead. And
If
then
you
took
take a chainsaw to the dual sense,
yeah,
essentially.
if you took a chainsaw to the dual sense, split it in half, and put a screen there.
Mhm.
Okay, I mean, fine, I
Prob-
guess.
probably the cheapest screen with the lowest end hardware you can find as a tablet on the market. Take that and screw it in between a chainsaw DualSense.
All right, so this thing, so we knew about this as Project Q for quite a
Yeah.
while. At the time, we didn't have a lot of information, and at the time, my initial thoughts were, okay, maybe it's like some kind of a weird companion portable device
Mm-hmm.
that maybe has some like real functionality to it. Because I mean, You're gonna make
Yeah,
this fucking
we've
thing.
had that previously with the Vita, and I think even the PSP had some sort of remote play functionality with the PS3,
Uh,
but
so,
certainly the Vita with the PS4.
but no, that's not what that's not what this is.
Mm-hmm.
To say this thing has functionality is actually
That's almost an insult to the word functionality.
yeah. Okay, so all this thing is a streaming handheld that requires your PS5 to be on so you can stream games from your PS5. That is,
It's, if you believe it, a Wii U gamepad with less functionality.
yeah, somehow.
Made,
Somehow,
yeah, don't know how they managed that,
yeah,
but they
somehow,
did.
somehow they did it. It honestly, it's baffling because, like, it doesn't have any internal storage, so it's purely just for streaming, which is crazy to me because, like, there's a Logitech streaming handheld, but even that had like onboard storage or expandable storage of some variety. Like even that had storage on it, and that was primarily for streaming as well. This has no onboard storage. It is purely for streaming, which I really I look, I would like to know where they're pulling their numbers that makes them think that like this notion of game streaming is such a compelling idea. Like I
It
really would
is
like those numbers. I would love to
especially
see
a
those.
plain mobile in-home game streaming. Because that's
Yeah.
effectively the only place where you're gonna be able to use this.
Yeah,
You're
you're
never
not going
gonna
to
be able to use this on the go.
Yeah, no, you're not. That's not a thing.
Because
This is
even this one doesn't. I'm not quite sure right now. You have probably have the page pulled up, so I don't know if this even has Wi-Fi or does this only connect directly to the PS5.
PlayStation 4 will remotely connect to your PS5 over Wi-Fi, but there's also two asterisks
Okay.
next to the Wi-Fi.
Uh-huh.
Part of that requires broadband internet Wi-Fi at least 5. Okay, that's what it. Okay, it had two asterisks next to the Wi-Fi. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
was
Yeah, so
concerned.
you'd really need broadband, so you'd really need a really good connection for that. So yeah, doing this on the go, nah, not gonna happen.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to pull those kind of. You're not gonna be able to pull those kind of speeds any other way. But so okay, fine. Like all right, cool. It's a niche product, which I mean, who am I to judge? In a couple of weeks, I'll talk about a niche product I probably paid more than what most people would probably pay for. But you know what? Fine.
Yeah, but
I
that niche product has functionality much more than that.
okay, but like I can respect a niche product is what I'm saying, right? Like I can
Mm-hmm.
respect a product made for a small customer base.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. I respect
Just for
that.
comparison, how much does that niche product that you ordered cost?
It was 220.
So only slightly more than the Portal is
Yeah,
gonna
only
cost.
slightly more. Just slightly. It
Because
it
that's
it
pretty much
launched
200.
it launched at 199. They had to up the price up by a little bit
Uh-huh.
because of the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
the shortage and everything. So
Yeah,
they only upped it
but
by 20 bucks.
essentially,
Same price.
okay. So let's say essentially same price.
Yeah, I know. I know. I know. Believe me. I know. I live through I live in the same hellscape as you do. All right, we both are forced to deal with this. Okay, so I like I said, I respect a niche product. The thing
Mm.
is that this is a niche product where I don't even think it has a niche. I don't even think there is a niche for this because I have friends who do like PlayStation, like the when they're at work.
PSVR and all.
Yeah, no, like the
Oh,
being able to like remote play
oh the
their
remote
games.
play. Mm-hmm.
They remote play, but they don't need
Mm-hmm.
this. They already have devices that can do the remote play. They're not gonna
Uh-huh.
pay. people who already want to do remote play can do it
Yeah.
without having to spend an additional
You
$200
you can
for.
do this with your phone, with your tablet, with your computer, with your so either with your desktop, with your laptop, and since you already have a DualSense with the PS5, you can just take that controller and use it with your tablet, with your phone, with your computer. So, hmm,
the
that's 200 for just having the DualSense in between the screen in between your DualSense halves, which not sure that's worth the 200.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get into some like really weird anti-consumer BS with this thing, so it has a headphone jack, which I mean, you know, probably for the
But
best.
that's almost a rarity nowadays.
Yeah, you remember like remember almost a decade ago when we were all like, oh, Apple's so brave for getting rid of the headphone jack, and now these days
Um,
we're like, eh,
I don't remember at any time saying that, but
eh.
yeah, okay.
We were like, oh, Apple got rid of the headphone jack. Yeah, I'm sure
Mhm.
nobody else is really gonna follow that train too quickly. Yeah, it turns out
Mhm.
they followed that train.
Yeah.
The train got followed. Um, okay, so this thing does not have Bluetooth
Mhm.
at all. There is no Bluetooth functionality, so you can't use.
Probably to keep the battery capacity up.
But it uses something called PlayStation Link, which is their
Mhm.
own proprietary sort of
Uh-huh.
wireless thing that they've created
Mhm.
because fuck the consumer. And it
Of
only
course.
works with two very particular pieces of equipment.
Mhm.
Their Pulse Elite and their Pulse Explore. And God,
I mean, obviously they have to have something proprietary since this one doesn't have any memory sticks. You have to go with the headphones.
yeah, I don't like it.
You can't sell any PS Vita memory cards with this, so there you go. Have to
I
do that.
I don't. This entire thing just.
Now we know where the guy that was responsible for the PS Vita memory cards is working now.
Oh, this thing doesn't have onboard storage? Well, I guess I'll just have to make the fucking things you're gonna use to listen to it fucking proprietary as shit.
You want wireless listening? Yeah, well, fuck you.
Yeah. How dare you? How dare you want
You want
wireless
your own
listening?
wireless headphones used with this? Pah!
Uh, also, well, I mean, obviously, like I said, it doesn't have any storage, so obviously no
Mm-hmm.
local play. I think I've pretty much covered that by saying it has no storage.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No, oh, it also doesn't do PS5 cloud streaming.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't do that. It's only
I
for
mean,
remote play.
you have PS5 cloud streaming. Is that streaming to the PS5 from the cloud, or or would that be streaming PS5 games from the cloud?
Yeah, I think it's streaming from the cloud.
Okay, yeah, then it's no surprise because you obviously only have the connection to the PS5. So
And then targeting the same. And
yeah.
then one of the last things, this was from Tom Warren, targeting the same battery as DualSense control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great battery
Ah,
life, I'm sure.
okay. How much is this again? 199. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reminded of one of my favorite Star Fox quotes of all time. The Great
Mm-hmm.
Fox before a mission. Good luck. 'Cause you're gonna fucking need it.
Uh,
I don't know, man. This
hmm. 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 Hmm.
I think this is a swing and a miss. I don't really. I'm all down for niche products, but this seems like a niche this seems like a product that doesn't even have a niche because I feel like the people who already wanted remote play could already do it. Don't we already have
Mm-hmm.
the thing you showed me for like cell phones that does
Yep.
that you plug your
Yeah.
cell phone into,
Yeah.
basically?
Essentially, there's already the PlayStation Backbone, I think it was called.
Yeah.
That is essentially one of those many mobile controllers that you just snap on your phone,
Yeah,
or if
so
or on smaller tablets, I think as well. Don't think there's any version for 10-inch tablets, but yeah,
like
for smaller
who
tablets and
I
phones.
guess I just don't I
Yeah,
guess
and
moreover
that controller is probably quite a bit cheaper.
I just don't understand the
Mm,
audience that they think is gonna pay
yeah,
$200 to remote play.
and DualSense battery time. Didn't the DualSense already have worse battery time than the DualShock 4, which already didn't have great battery time?
It's not like amazing. I
Mm-hmm.
think I maybe pull about 4 to 5
Mm-hmm. Okay.
out of it. I think it's like four
Yeah,
or
that's not
five.
great.
It's
That's
like
not great at
yeah,
all.
it's not. No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm just saying. I get like
Mm-hmm.
four to
Yeah.
five. That's I get maybe three, like four or
Mm-hmm.
so, five or so recordings out of it whenever I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing like Persona 5 videos and stuff. I get
Mm-hmm.
about that many before it dies, and those recordings can run
Yeah.
almost an hour a piece. So,
Yeah, just mean that's not a great life for
yeah,
um
for
uh handheld device. I mean, even the Switch in the newer versions is better, isn't it?
dude, dude, my
Significantly,
dude, my
especially the newer ones.
my take with me OLED,
Mm-hmm.
bruh. Dude, I get so much out of that just on battery
Mm-hmm.
life alone. I'm
Mm-hmm.
pulling like seven to
Yeah.
10 sometimes.
Because
Close.
from what I remember, at the first versions of the Switch didn't have that great battery life, but with the revision, they improved on that a lot.
Yeah, I get amazing battery life
Mm-hmm.
out of my OLED I take with me everywhere. And
Yeah.
believe me, I take it with me
Mm-hmm. I certainly
everywhere.
believe it. I mean, when you have battery life that even a Steam Deck can reach, that's
Yeah,
uh,
it doesn't inspire a lot of
so
confidence.
no, not really.
Um okay. That's all. That's the clown shoes story for today, boys and girls. I hope you've
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed it. You know, I couldn't help myself. Any opportunity to talk about a company being absolute clown shoes is
Mm-hmm.
never a bad thing. And if Sony is going to step up and jump out the clown car, a la fucking Linus Tech Tips, and who am I to fucking not laugh at them a little bit? I'm sorry, I had to go there. I'm sorry, I couldn't
Sure.
help it. I wasn't gonna bring him up, but
Yeah,
any
have to have a
opportunity,
dig in there at least once.
have to dig at him at least once. I'm not gonna give him the time of day on this fucking show, but he's gonna get fucking roasted. I promise. He's
Yeah.
getting put on the fucking rotisserie. All right. Baldur's Gate 3.
Mm-hmm.
So Baldur's Gate 3 dropped. It was launched on PC first. They had a month delayed launch for PS5. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not entirely sure what I think they were finishing up some stuff with it, because I also know they are putting off the preload for the
Mm-hmm.
PS5 version, because once the game drops, it's going to have all the patches included up until that
Yep.
point. So
Mm-hmm.
they want it to where people who preload it have the most current version
Mm-hmm.
of the game. And CD,
Yep.
as I'm
Because
sure
I think
as
there's
I'm sure
also cross save for that.
yeah,
I think.
as I'm sure CD will tell you, we have
Mm-hmm.
now seen 5 hot fixes since launch,
Yeah, just about.
and
I think 4 hot fixes, with
one
the fourth
massive
being redeployed, and
yeah.
just recently a massive patch dropped. Yeah.
CD, let's put
Mm-hmm.
to context how big this patch
Mm-hmm.
is. I want to read to you the little blurb you put into the chat. Hello,
Mm-hmm.
everyone. Today we're releasing our first major patch for Baldur's Gate 3, addressing over 1,000 bugs, balancing, flow issues, and much, much more. Patch 1 is too big for our usual patch notes due to Steam's character limit. So for our full notes, head to this link. I don't think I've ever heard of any game in the history of Steam having a patch
I,
notes
I
so
think I
massive.
remember one. I think there's been one or two, but it doesn't happen often. I
Where your
don't
pat
remember which one it was, but I do remember there was one or two.
where your patch notes are so massive you can't
Hmm.
even fit them on Steam. Okay,
You can fit them in one of these Steam update notes,
yeah.
which yeah.
So this led to a contingent of stupid people, and I'm going to say stupid
Hmm.
people because that's exactly what the fuck they are, accusing
Hmm.
Larian of of having an
Oh,
exclusivity
that yeah.
deal with PlayStation.
Hmm.
Again, I
Yeah,
want
we
to
talked
remind
about that last time, I think.
again, I want
Hmm.
to remind you these are stupid people. I am going to emphasize that with the depth of my chest. They are stupid people. They should not be trusted. Um, this was primarily due to the fact that Xbox has a clause that you have to release your games in parity between the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, meaning that
Yes.
you can't have something on the X that cannot be on the S. It
Uh,
has to be it has
yeah,
to
is in detail in this case it was about the game modes. Because
yeah.
there are some features that you don't have to have on the S but can have on the X, like ray tracing and stuff. But there's there's a specific paragraph, or rather section, in the developer terms or in the publishing terms that the game modes have to have parity.
Right, game modes
So
have to have
the
parity. Sorry.
problem was the co-op
They could
game
not
mode
at the time they just could
with
not
the
get
split screen co-op,
it
and
just
not just
wasn't.
at the time.
Oh,
They can't get that running on the Series S.
wait, they I thought they
Nope, nope, they can't get that running on the Series S. Not in a good way. But they had a special meeting with Phil Spencer,
Mhm.
so now they agreed to drop that requirement for them on the Series S. Hmm. It's
Oh.
There's an
That was
advantage to.
not that was not what I was expecting out of this story. I
Hmm.
I thought they pulled some voodoo magic and prayed to the
Nah.
nine divines and got it working.
Well, that would have been nice, but this I think is an advantage when you have a massively successful release of a game and then go to the console manufacturer and say, "We have a slightly successful game release here. Do you want this a bit earlier?"
Yeah, because
Could we finagle something there?
there's no telling if and when they could have
Mhm.
managed
Yeah.
to get that working on the Series S. There's
It
no
would have taken them at least until into next year.
yeah, I don't know like this is a weird thing. This is such a crazy thing because I I feel like I feel like if I was someone who bought like a Series S and that was like my
Hmm.
primary venue into next gen,
Hmm.
I don't know if I maybe a little buyer's maybe like no like a lot of buyer's remorse, but I'd be like,
If something
this
like this happens, yeah, I think so.
there'd be some like buyer's remorse. I feel like I'd
Hmm.
have at least a little bit. I'd be like, ah, damn,
Yeah,
maybe I should have just spent the extra money and got the
especially
premium
since
one.
you pay about half as much for the console, but just because of this specific game mode that I don't know how many people will actually play on the Series S or would play if they had it. Just because of this, you have to wait however many months for the game release. Yeah, that's hmm, not great.
That's a bad taste in the mouth.
Hmm.
That's not a great
Yeah,
taste in the mouth. And like you
especially with a
said,
game this popular.
so CD,
Hmm.
I have a confession to make. You probably
Okay.
already know. I'm pretty sure I
Hmm.
already told you at some point during our mini conversation we have on Discord. but I
Mhm.
may or may not have ended up grabbing Baldur's Gate 3 on PS5. I'm not gonna say I did or didn't. I said I may or may
Okay.
not have. It might or might
Mhm.
not have happened. I'm just gonna throw that out
Mhm.
there. All right, just gonna throw
Okay.
that out there. All right. So
Mm.
I did not hide the fact that even I was a little bit miffed. Well, maybe not miffed. A little taken aback by the amount of by the amount of hard drive space this fucking game needed on PC. By the fact that I could not put it on my dedicated game drive because I was actually
Mhm.
almost out of space on that drive. I had to put it on my other drive. Turns out
Mhm.
that turns out, yeah, I did because that's a lot of hard drive space I was not
Mhm.
prepared for just to be taken up by a single game.
Mhm.
Not changed on PS5 apparently either, because that's still gonna be.
Yeah,
Thank
just
goodness.
around 120 gigabytes or something like that.
Yeah.
Over 100 gigs on PC.
For
Yep,
those of
and
you who
yeah.
might be asking yourself, well, Reza, why would you make such a terrible decision as to do this?
Hmm.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have an admission to make. I need you all to sit down, strap yourselves in, because I'm about to blow some fucking minds.
Uh-huh.
I don't really enjoy PC gaming. I don't. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't. I don't enjoy PC gaming outside of like a handful of games I actually already play on PC. And the few that I play on PC are like MMOs, and that's about it. That's like Final Fantasy 14 and like maybe a few other little things I might choose to play on PC. By and large, I admit it, I'm a console plebeian. The only reason why I engage with PC games is because the majority of my friends engage with PC, and I'm not going to be able to convince them to engage with the game anywhere else. So I'm kind of stuck. It just is how it is. So I am going to engage primarily with this game on
Mhm.
console, which is also why I'll be playing it on the second, the third, and the fourth, because I am taking that Monday and Tuesday off specifically to also play this fucking video game.
Mhm.
Because CD, as we established, the best kind of mind flayer is a dead one.
Yep, certainly.
that that
That
is
has not changed.
the best kind of mind flayer is in fact a dead mind flayer, and I am
Yes, indeed.
100% on that one. You know what? I'll take this last story. One second.
Okay. All right.
Actually, you know what? I'll let you handle this because you probably understand a bit more. I haven't actually read this. I only found out about this morning when you posted the
Mm.
story. So I'm going to assume you probably gave it more of
I'm
a once
guessing the
over than.
BioWare stuff.
Yes.
Well, as we all know, EA has a while ago announced some restructuring and letting go of, I think, around 6% of their workforce, something like that.
Wow.
And yeah, just recently, a few days ago, on the 23rd, BioWare has made an update. And they are letting go around 50 people from their team,
Oh shit.
which is a significant number, I'd say, especially since they're right now still pretty much deep in developing the next Dragon Age.
Is that what they're developing? I haven't been keeping
Yep.
track of what they've been up to.
Yeah, they're working on Dragon Age Dreadwolf, I think was the subtitle
Yeah.
for it.
Well,
And
I will give that a look after I will look into that after I get through my second playthrough of Baldur's Gate
mhm.
3. Then we can
Eh,
have that
if
conversation.
it's gonna be out then at all, we'll see. Because BioWare, I'm not sure they're looking that great. And given their recent stuff, I'm not sure that Dragon Age Dreadwolf will be all that great either. They're, they don't exactly inspire confidence in terms of that.
Someone I follow on Twitter did a post about BioWare saying the BioWare
Mm-hmm.
you remember hasn't existed in years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm like, damn.
the BioWare we remember wouldn't have made Anthem, for example. The BioWare we remember wouldn't have made Mass Effect Andromeda.
uh, and if
Which,
they
to be
had,
fair, wasn't BioWare Edmonton, but still. That was not a game that the old BioWare would have made. Not in that quality.
yeah, not in that fucking state. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I
50
think
6%. You guys get rid of 6% of their Jesus Christ.
yeah, for EA, that's quite a significant number. I think that's several hundred people at least.
Is this the part? Is this the part where they do a follow up thing, saying how they've had record breaking profits just after cutting a shit ton of
It
staff?
wouldn't surprise me, honestly. It wouldn't surprise me, honestly,
It's
because I
not.
think
Oh God, they did.
financially. No, I don't think they have made an announcement like that, but I think financially they're not doing badly. Let's check. What have the numbers been recently? Or have they announced anything there? Their revenue 2023 was up and it's currently at around 7.4 billion. Their operating income is at around 1.13 billion. Their net income around 102 million, so they're definitely in the green there. So they're not doing badly in that regard. But this is not exactly a surprise, let's say.
No, I'm not.
Because restructurings like this very often happen when the company's doing well.
Which is crazy for me to think that you fire people when you're doing well. That just seems so counterintuitive, but I mean, business is business, so I am not.
It happens quite a few times, but it often also leads to problems along the way.
Damn. Well,
I mean,
shit.
we can rest easy that they're still not forgetting their old IPs like Command and Conquer, which they're bringing to mobile again.
Oh.
With Command and Conquer Legions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nobody, I didn't ask. Did you ask for this? I didn't ask for this.
I mean, don't you have phone?
Don't you guys have phone? I cannot. Don't you guys have phones? Isn't this? Why are you guys complaining? You all have phones, right? This is fine. You can play it on your phone. I think the thing that annoys me most about that whole situation is like the negative reaction to that announcement, but then just how much money that fucking game brought in like the first fucking week. It's like we really don't have anything. We have no morals to stand on, do we? We have no founding morals. We don't have a strong structure. It's fucking.
I mean, it depends. It's just different groups of people.
Fucking slop.
People that complained, that could be very well different, a completely different group than the one that made the money.
But it's just slop into mouth and eat the slop.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of confidence there in that particular regard. Or I might just be jaded. Who knows? I'm just an old ass, jaded ass motherfucker. It's possible.
Column A, column B.
Yeah, I'm not really willing to try to I'm not really willing to play the semantic argument about which one's which. You know, I will say though, BioWare, you've bottomed out, right? Like as far as terribleness goes. Like I feel like
I would hope so after Anthem.
Like I have to think you've like hit rock bottom, so the chances that you could actually do worse. Like maybe I'm being a little too optimistic here, and that's possible. But like, you could really just be worse, right? Like, you've hit rock bottom. I'm sure you've figured out how you can do
That's
this
really
and not
good.
somehow be worse.
Hmm.
Maybe. I doubt it, but it's whatever. I think that's it. I think that's all. I think that's all we got this week.
Yeah.
I think that's all the madness for the week. All the clown shoes I can possibly afford to fit on fit into the show for 1 week without mentioning Linus. Oh, I mean, sorry. Sorry. Sorry.
That's all the clown shoes we can fit on our feet without having to eat them.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't imagine having to put on the clown shoes and then eat them, Linus. Yeah. Can't possibly imagine what that feels like. That has to really feel bad, Linus.
So so bad.
God. I'm happy I don't have to cover it, but I'm not gonna like not make jokes about it because
Absolutely.
at every
That's
at,
absolutely fair game.
at every single step of that situation, he somehow managed to make his situation worse, which honestly is like an astounding thing to me. I have a hard time understanding how you could be given every opportunity to like damage control your way out of it, and your damage control is less damage control and just pouring more gasoline than wondering why the fire's only getting bigger.
Like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
Pours more
Well,
gasoline on there. Why isn't this
yeah,
stopping?
yeah. Why isn't the fire going out? Oh
Uh,
my God, there's so much fire. Yeah, just go throw it out there. Um, you can call, you say what you like about me. Say I'm kicking a man when he's down, but
hmm.
don't be shitty. I think that's a fair argument. I've always said if you're gonna take the low road, guess what, bitch? I'm gonna meet you there too. You taking the low road? Guess what? I'm going low too. We are both going low. That's all there is to it. I will meet you there. There's none of this. You hit them. None of this. They hit you low. You go high. Nah, fuck that noise. Nah, not doing it. Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, everybody, hope you've enjoyed this show. Hopefully, we'll be back on track from this point onward as my sabbatical away from at least 2/3 of my creative endeavors continues. But no matter how I feel about my creative endeavors, this podcast can't go away. I can't. It's like an addiction. I have to be here every week. I'm going to keep on fucking doing it. Until then, everybody,
Yeah.
you can find us on a variety of podcasting platforms such as Apple, Spotify, and Google. Our show launches every single Sunday on our podcasting audio platforms and on YouTube at Turn Based Cynics every Sunday. I hope you guys
Sunday fun day.
hope you guys enjoy it. I don't want to have to eat a piece of footwear, so you can rest assured it will be up on Sunday. Better be up on Sunday. And yeah, hope you all have a fantastic week. I will tell you all right now, preemptively, I'm going to put this out there. Next Sunday, there will be a show. But next Sunday is also a Sunday I'm going to be probably playing Baldur's Gate 3. So, temper your expectations to that show. That's all I'm going to say. Go into it with reasonable expectations, because some of you might be disappointed. But this is gaming, so most of you are used to disappointment. So I don't really feel like I have to really lecture you on how to deal with disappointment. We should all be used to it by now. Anyways, everybody,
That's certainly true.
have a fantastic week, and we will see you all next time. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm fucking ready. Fucking ready, Sony. Launch the portal. I want to see just how badly this thing fucking tanks.
The portal into nothingness. Yeah.
It's a fucking
While they're while their PSVR is doing good, yeah, I don't think that's gonna be the case for the Portal.
Yeah, but like, at least with
Because
the
the
V,
PSVR actually has
it
a target group
yeah,
that's there.
at least with the VR, the niche exists.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's an audience. There's it's a small audience, but like I said, I respect a niche
Yeah.
product, so the
I
niche
think,
exists.
although I think the audience for PSVR might be small, but it's not that small. It's for VR, it's a quite significant audience, and I think it's certainly bigger than for the Portal.
Well, I mean, I think almost any audience is still bigger than the portal. I don't think you'd
Mm.
have to try that hard to find an audience.
One would hope,
I'm pretty. I would
but
be.
we've seen people do bad decisions, so
I just
let's
don't.
fucking hope so. Because
I just don't get it.
I don't want to reward Sony for their stupidity like this.